Hello friends, welcome to CloudVi. In today's sessions, I am going to discuss the migration technique from RDS MySQL to Amazon Elasticsearch. Here are the points I am going to discuss today. At the beginning, I am going to create a RDS and then I'll be doing this some of the prerequisites for CDC. Then I will also load some two tables and inserting two or three rows of data. In the next steps, I'm going to create a Elasticsearch domain and through the console, and the following steps I'll be performing the DMS steps like creating replication instance, create endpoints, and then performing the DMS tasks. And then the last point, I am going to validate the data in Elasticsearch through Kibana. Okay, this video I want to I'll be doing in little bit fast pace, so some of the steps like RDS and all this thing I'll be fast forwarding, but definitely I'll be putting this all the resources, the documents I have followed, the AWS documents or whatever the documents, I'll be putting on the the link in the video so that you can refer to the documents. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, as I said, the first steps, the source steps, I'll be creating the MySQL DB first and then prepare for CDC and the load sample data. So I am in the console. So here I am creating the database with a custom DB parameter groups. I am going to discuss why I did that, because for the CDC some of the parameter needs to be changed, and we cannot change the default parameter groups for changing parameters. So I am using this custom parameter groups here. Well, now my database is available, so I can log in using my SQL workbench, using this endpoint. So I already copied the endpoint as a host name, port is 3306, username is testdba. Got it. So now I will be creating two sample tables and inserting few rows. My first table is customer. I am inserting two rows. Okay. My second table is books. I'm inserting two rows as well. Okay, the next steps, I'll be changing some parameters for enabling CDC. CDC is the change data capture. So I'm referring this this is the DMS document. I'm referring these things MySQL as a source. So if I'll come down a little bit, it's mentioned that if you enable binary logging, if you plan to use the change data capture, following parameter needs to be changed. Since I am using this RDS, we can change the parameter file. Okay, I have already said that purposefully I am using this custom parameter group. if you know that I have to create the parameter groups, I have to go to the parameter group, that I have to create the custom parameter group since it is MySQL 8. So at the beginning I'm going to check this first parameter is a binlock format. This already been set, but I just want to check this is normally you can change by the editing parameters. So it's already changed, it's already set for me. The document says you need to set it to row. Second is expire log days. So it's also non-zero value. Binlock checksum. You can check directly binlock. You can set I already set it to none. Binlock row image. Same to okay, let me change to full. It's already full. And then I'm not using these things because I am not using any red replica. The another things we need to change, I'm setting this since I'll be using this CDC, though that retention was not needed for 24 hours, but let me set it there. Okay, so another thing I just want to tell you that if I'm going to use it, you might receive an error saying it's a safe update mode. You are using a safe update mode, so I have to disable the safe update mode. So I am disabling the safe update mode here and calling the script again. And after that I am enabling what was there previously. Okay, so my CDC requirement as per document is done. Okay, there are some limitations but I am just going to do a simple few rows. So if you do something fancy, please go through the limitations. This document is a kind of AWS document, so you need to follow the documents. The extra connections also attributes you can set it, but there is nothing required. You can choose it if you want. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to create a Elasticsearch domain. Well, let's go to the Elasticsearch service and create a domain. I'll choose a development and testing. Version should be default. Let's put my domain name as a CloudVi. I'll choose the smallest one. It's too small. Yep. Number of nodes 1. Everything is default. Next. VPC. I'll choose VPC. Subnet. Security group, I will choose my same security groups. At first I'll be allowing open access to the domain. Encryption is not needed. Next. Confirm. Okay, this will take at least 10 to 15 minutes to create the domain. So I am pausing the video right now. I will come back once it's done. So my Elasticsearch domain is now available, and you can see the domain status is active. So I have to do some kind of prerequisite steps for Elasticsearch service as a DMS target. So let's go to the documentations. So this is the Amazon documentations where I am referring this Amazon Elasticsearch service as a target. If I scroll down, there is something a prerequisites is kind of IAM policy and role should be required. Okay, so I'll go to the IAM. I'll go for a policies, create policies, JSON. I'll copy the policies from here. This is the policies we have going to use. Here I have to change the account ID and the domain name. Okay, I have changed my account ID and domain name. Review policy. Let me put my policy name as a cloud by ES Elasticsearch policy. Create policy. The next steps, I am going to the role, create role, service is DMS, next permission, cloud by Elasticsearch policy, tags, review, role name is cloud by Elasticsearch role, create role. This role will be required. I'll just note down the URL. Okay, now the next steps, I'm going to the DMS. Going to create a migration replication instance, put a name as a cloud by rep. Description, whatever you want. I put it as a small 20 GB. VPC, same VPC, publicly accessible, yes. Availability zone, let's keep the same availability zone, though it's not required. Same security groups, create. Okay, while the replication instance is creating, I am also creating the endpoints. First source, RDS name database 1, password is okay. Create the target. Let me put as a target itself. Engine is Elasticsearch. Okay, and now I'm going to copy the role ARN which we created earlier and the VPC endpoints of the Elasticsearch. Create endpoints. Now once the replication instance is ready, we are going to test the endpoints and we'll proceed with the database migration tasks. Replication instance is available, so let's do the testing. First, the source MySQL connections, run test. Successful. Let's go for target, run test. Successful. On the next step, I am going to the database migration tasks. I'll be creating a task now. So let me put a name as a cloud by task. I'll choose the from the drop down. and let me put here the migration existing data and CDC. You remember that we already enabled the bin logs for CDC purpose. Okay, I don't have any logs, so everything will be default. Here I'll be using, you can either you can use this guided UI or the JSON. I'll be using the guided UI. Selection mode. Our schema is schema. Our schema name is PSDB. Let's put a table name. I'm not mentioning the table name because it will take everything, and let's create tags. Now you can see that my task is running. So let's go to the table statistics. I can already see that my two tables, customer and books, is completed. So 2 rows and 3 rows. Now my status is load complete replication ongoing, since it is I have chosen the CDC. So let's check the CDC now. For that I am just going to insert some rows from my source database. So I'll go to the MySQL workbench, and I'll go to the, I'll put a name, say CloudVai training, and name is CloudVai, and I will insert it. Similarly I'll do for a book, say value is 4, name is AWS, and author is CloudVai. I'll also insert. Let's go back to my table statistics again. Okay, you can see that both the inserts is cam 1 and total rows is 3 to 4. So that means my migration is completed. Okay, now the next step is that how can I validate the migration? How can I check these things? There is a multiple ways. You can go through the document, that is Elasticsearch document. Elasticsearch document, but I am going to show you how you can access this the migrated data into the Elasticsearch using this Kibana dashboard. For that, if you can, you already seen that if I click the domain, there is a Kibana URL is there. So if I'll copy the URL, if I'll create a new one, new session, and if I'll copy the URL here, it's won't work, and this is and this session is going to be timeout maybe in, after 1 minute, after a minute, is because this is I have configured my Elasticsearch domain within a VPC. So I am trying to connect this Kibana URL outside the VPC from my local machine. It's not going to work. So there is a way around. Then that is we are going to configure here. The way around is that we are going to create a SSH tunneling from our client machine and using a EC2 machine which is already there, which I launch inside the VPC. So this is my EC2 machines I have launched inside the same VPC. I am going to use it. So let me show you how you can do that. For that, I am creating a new window. This is my client machine window. So for that, you have to create first a SSH folder which is already created for me. You can create it with the mkdir.ssh. It's already created, and then cd ssh, and then you have to just create a folder file called config. Okay, and then you have to copy certain things from here. Okay, these are the following steps you have to copy. So I'll go through one by one. First is since it is we are doing the host level tunneling, so it is host ES tunnel. And second is the host name. This is the host name of the EC2 machines. Either you can put the public IP IPv4 or the DNS. So I put the IPv4 IP here. The third user is EC2 user. You know that this is the default users. Identity is only yes. Identity file is this is my PM file. This is through which I log into the my EC2 machines. And then local forward. Local forward is the local port, and then the VPC endpoints. So local port, you can use any port, because in your local machines most of the ports are open, and you can use any port. Some of the documentation says 9200, but I find that you can use any port. It's not only the 9200 you have to use. So I put, just for the sake of this video, I use 1234, and then this is the VPC endpoints I have to copy, plus just mind it, you have to copy after https://. So only this VPC part you have to copy. So I copied, and after that as a suffix you have to use :443. So after that you just copy, save and exit. Now for the next things, what you have to do, you have to run a command. You have to this is the command you have to run. This is ssh es tunnel -N. So this will create a tunneling session. Okay, you don't have to, because this tunneling session is running in the now, you don't have to cancel this thing, so let it be there. And now what you have to do, go to the window and use https localhost. Our port is 1234 and plugin is Kibana. So you can see this is not secure. Sometimes if you use for the first time, there will be a warning, so you have to accept the warning, then it will open. Now go to the SQL workbench, Kibana. You can see that how many tables are there. There are 3 tables. Okay, this is the default one. This is the books and customers. Okay, let me query books from customers. Okay, let me query the customer. Run. Okay, customer, we can see there is 3 rows are there. Similarly, we'll go for the books. Books, you can see these 4 rows are there. So that is that's all. The thing I just want to show you here. This is the Amazon Elasticsearch service document, and this is the VPC support. There is some specific security group rules should be required for this SSH tunneling. So here the SSH port 22, your CIDR block, that means whether you are starting from your client machine, and this 443 HTTPS to the security group ID. Now let me show you what is my security group looks like. This is my security group. Here you can see that SSH, I put it from everywhere. This, since it is just a training system, you can put your own IP. This is for MySQL because my database is also using the same security groups, and this is for HTTPS. I put my own source as my own security group IP ID. Okay, this is a nice way to look into the stuffs in Elasticsearch. So I understand you enjoy the video and you understood that how we can do the migrations and also validate the post migration data through the Kibana. Okay, for the as a last steps, what we are going to do, we are going to delete the resources. At first I will go to the database migration service. Since it is a CDC, I have to first stop it. Once it is stopped, I'll be deleting this DMS migration tasks, replication instance and endpoints, and then I can delete the source system or the destination systems if it is not required. Okay guys, that's all. Thanks for watching my video. We'll meet you soon. Bye.